Hello friends, this is tutorial number 46 in this C++ programming language tutorials. In this tutorial we will talk about vectors. Vectors, they are similar with arrays, but they have some key differences, and let's create a vector to show you. Now, to use vector, we need to import it from the library. And the same thing as we have in arrays. Also, vector can be string, integer, float, double, and we will use it with objects, of course. And in this case we will create a vector of strings. Now let's create a vector. We will use string, and the name of this vector will be colors. Now, to add elements in this vector, we will use command colors dot pushback. And now, inside these brackets we need to write a string, because this is a vector of strings. We will write a color, it will be white. And we will add couple more colors. We can add 5 colors. We already add one. Now let's copy couple of them. We need new line here, and we have 5 colors, but we need to change the value. Here will be red, here will be blue, and here will be gray, and here will be black. Now we have 5 colors in this vector, and now if we want to print, let's try to print colors. If we try to print now, we will get the same result as we want to print array. We told to our program to print this vector of colors, but as a response he doesn't know response. We have 5 colors inside this vector, and what do you want to print? And it's the same thing as we have in the arrays. This one is same. We can print one of the color. If we want element 0, it will be white. This is the same thing as we have with arrays. In vectors is completely the same. If we now want to print element 2, will be blue. But there is one more way. If we want to print first element of the vector, we will use colors dot. We will use, just a second, we will use first one. Just a second. we will use front. And as a result we have a white. And if we want to print a last element of the vector, we will use colors.back, and let's run now. We have black color, and we have situation when we want, of course we want to print all of these colors complete. We want to print complete vector. Let's comment this, but first I want to show you, before we print this, I want to just show you, if we print colors.size, size, it means size of the vector, and it will show us how many elements we have inside the vector. And if we build this and run, it will show number 5. This means that we have 5 elements in this vector, and this is very important, this size, because we will use a for loop to print all elements of the vector. But let me comment this, and let's create one for loop. Here we work with strings, and we will use unsigned integer x equals to 0, and x, another condition. Now it will not be it is lesser than 5 or it is lesser than 10. If we have 10 elements, we can have elements in the vector as many as we want. We don't need to define this is a vector of 10, of 15, of 20 elements. We don't need to define it. And if we want to print all, we will just use x will be lesser than colors dot size, and we will use x plus plus. This is big advantage of the vector. And now we will just print cout colors of element x. And let's build and run. We have our colors: white, red, blue, gray and black, which is perfect. And this is this size is a big difference between when we compare arrays and vectors. This is a big difference, and it is easier for us to print the complete vector. We don't need, if we have 30-40 elements, we don't need to know exactly how many elements of the vector we have. We just use size and we will know it. Now what I wanted to show you else, we can, if we want to delete a last element of the vector, we will use command colors dot, it will be pop back. Okay, and inside we do not need any parameter, and it means now we have this vector of 5 elements, but when we use this pop back, it will automatically delete this the last element of the vector, and this black is deleted from vector. Now if we build and run this, now you will see it's white, red, blue and gray. And this is the advantage. Now if we have array and we, for example, delete one element, this loop will not work anymore, because when we have an array of 5 elements, we are using here x is lesser than 5, but here we have a size. When we delete this last element, our vector has 5 elements, but when we delete with a last element, with this pop back, size automatically change to 4, and it doesn't matter how many elements we have. We have a size to show us how many elements in vector we have. Okay, and this is most important thing. But I'm pretty much sure no big difference, but difference is here. When we want to add element, we use most important push back. When we want to delete a last element, we use pop back, and we use a size to see how many elements of vector we have, and this size we will use when we want to print them all, or we want to iterate over vector. I'm pretty much sure that you understand it. This is nothing serious, and of course we will practice vectors when we work with we can work with structs or classes and objects, and we will practice this. And I really hope that you understand it, but if you don't understand very well now, you will understand in the next tutorials. I really hope that you like this video. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. You have a link in the description, and I will see you in the next tutorial.